You may remember me from my television shows in the 1980s and 90s, and now I host two regularly live streamed virtual magic shows. One is a showcase for some of the greatest magicians in the world, and the other is a talk show featuring some of the most inspiring conjurers of our times. Welcome now to Magical People. And welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you all here today. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Magical People Live with my very, very special guest, Ari Rose.
Hi.
And let's put our hands together for Ari.
Hi,
Yay.
everyone. Really
Thank you
good.
so much. Thank you so much, Ari, for agreeing to participate on today's show. We have so much to cover because you are so versatile. Ari, for those of you somewhere in the world who don't know Ari or have not heard of her, besides being a magician, a very gifted magician, you're a model, you're an actor, you have so many things, and gifts and talents, and you've been sharing them. A lot of very gifted, talented people tend to be shy, or I know I'm generalizing, but they don't always gift the gift of all of their talents. So, briefly, would you like to share with us, Ari, what you do?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Michael. I'm very, very grateful. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. So, my kind of journey and my talents that I have is I grew up I've danced for now almost 20 years, since I was 4 years old. I won many accolades for choreography, for dance in general during that period of time. I still dance, but part-time now. I am a model, a professional model at that. And I've also acted in many commercials, music videos, and independent projects of friends of mine or in the film industry. I also share a lot of my life on social media, videos of me doing magic, of dancing, promotional work for different companies, and it's just a lot of fun. I've never known anything different other than to share the things that I do on social media.
Awesome, awesome. I prepared a little video. I'm searching for it even as we speak. There it is. I hope it does you justice. It's a little bit of your modeling put to music. So let's take a quick look at that. And there we go. I hope you liked that.
Yes, I did.
I pulled that as a surprise. Um, Can
Thank
you
you so
guess which pictures I love? I'll tell you. It's the one with the skull, which I think is really cool, and
Yeah,
the eye makeup, the eyeliner, I think is so cool.
thank you.
What was your inspiration for that, Ari?
So both of those are different times in my life. The one was both of them were on Halloween actually. The one with the skull was I was dressed as a raven, and ravens are very special to me. My favorite poem is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. I also have a tattoo that's a raven. So that was kind of the inspiration behind that is a very like Poe-like aesthetic. The one with the eye makeup look that is more recent, I drew inspiration a lot from like clown makeup and just like the whole alternative and goth scene because that was the event I was working. I was working a concert. So I kind of pulled inspiration from different things that I found and just pulled it together into a nice little look that I thought was appropriate for what I was doing.
Perfect. I love how you've combined artistic visualness, if you will, with magic. And that's what first excited me about your performances when I saw you. I think it was on Instagram, I'm not sure. The first time I saw you and the routine you did, and I thought, wow, this is really good. Plus, you look visually interesting.
Mhm.
So, again, I asked you on the Friday night, first Friday of every month, look it up on Facebook show, and actually you'll be on. Thankfully, I'm very grateful that you've decided to come on the December 6th Friday
For having
um, show as well. That's going to be awesome. But yes, as I was saying, I love the fact that your magic is themed in a way, at least visually, that's so lacking generally. It can be lacking in a lot of professional performances as well. I think, and you may remember this or not, a lot of you out there may, how magic, and I'm only remembering the 60s on, as far as magic is concerned, magicians looked very stereotypically 18 to 1900s, which I actually do love,
Mhm.
that turn of the last century look. But most people wouldn't know that that's what they're getting at. And then Doug Henning, a magician from Winnipeg, actually, though Toronto claimed him, he came on the scene with multicolored garb. He looked so cool. And even his props and illusions had multicolors. They sort of they referred to him kind of as a hippie magician, for lack of a better term. I just like to think he was very colorful and original, and he was also into meditation. But don't get me started on that. And then we had like Copperfield and a lot of other major illusionists in Vegas and elsewhere. And I think it was actually Copperfield that influenced a lot of the greats back then as well. You didn't have to wear the tuxedo anymore. You didn't have to dress a certain way. You could look casual but good. And I kind of like that. I thought it was really, really cool. And then it started to all morph, which I really loved. Everything started to evolve, and there was a little bit more what I refer to as personalization or individualism. There's a good word. We better write that down because I'll never remember that word after this. And that's what you remind me of in a way, Ari, is individualism, is that no, you don't look like any other magician right now. They're probably
Yeah.
going to copy you. There are some goth looking magicians like Sperry. I love him, for example, but it's not a very widespread thing. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of people are a bit afraid to break outside of the mold of like the typical magician that we think of. And for me, like the way that I dress and present myself and present my magic, it's just me. This is the way that I've always wanted to dress. And when I got a little bit older, I decided, okay, I want to like go into that fully and dress the way that I want to or always have. And it makes me feel like me. It feels the most comfortable, which is interesting given my personality and everything, which I have a very bright and bubbly kind of very sentimental personality, but I dress like this, and I think that's a nice juxtaposition and kind of balances out really nicely. But I think people are a little bit afraid to be authentic and to be true to them and break outside of the mold of what we think of as the magician.
I agree 1,000%. And I don't know where that fear is coming from. Perhaps a fear of being vulnerable on stage, a fear of,
Yes.
something to that effect. But that's when we're in our true power, is when we're being our authentic self. I'll never forget, and probably our audience has heard me say this a billion times, maybe a million. Yeah, maybe it's just a million, not a billion. But the first time I walked out in my medieval garb in a mall show, and the
Mhm.
magicians had no clue, our local magicians in Winnipeg didn't know that I'd kind of transitioned from a very cliche, stereotypical magician with,
Mhm.
actually, it looked all right, but I didn't stand out. And then I realized all I have to do is be me, and then I'll stand out. And that was the starting point. At that point, I was able to relate. I loved a TV show called Robin Hood, or a
Mhm.
Robin of Sherwood. It was from England, but they got it in North America. And I loved his outfit. And it's like, this rang true for me. This felt like me in several other lifetimes. So I actually, because no costumes quite the way I wanted existed, I
Yeah.
hand sewed everything. I didn't even use a machine. And, when I get excited about creativity, I'll just do it. I know someone
Yeah.
else, there's several other people in our audience who are like that as well.
Mhm.
And it was very exciting. There I was with my brown suede hood and my knee-high brown suede boots and my lute-shaped guitar and my carpet bag. I walked out for the first time. I'm not saying this to brag, it's kind of a funny thing in a way, but I
Mhm.
saw a few mouths drop. The local magicians there, it's like a couple of eyes rolled as well, but I picked them up and I gave them back. No, and it was really it was cool because I felt like I was me for the first time on stage in a long time.
Yeah.
So I get that, and this is almost a plea to other performers and or magicians. Just be yourself. No one's judging you except yourself. If you think that other people are judging you, it's only yourself noticing that. But that's a whole other metaphysical thing. So listen, another reason why I admire you, Ari, is for your authenticity. I can't wait to see in 5, 10, or more years what you're going to evolve into. Maybe it'll stay the same, maybe it'll be something else.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that as well. But I appreciate all those very kind words. And
Well,
yeah, definitely everyone needs to learn to be like your stage persona and everything is a more outward version of you, meaning that maybe you're more extroverted if you're introverted or a bit bolder in personality, but a lot of people's stage personas, including my own, are just an extension of yourself, or at least a part of yourself that maybe has always resonated with you, and even a character that's built usually has a little bit of resonance within you, I think.
absolutely, absolutely. So in that way, it's so powerful. You're
Mm,
not just, and I think I've noticed this a little bit about you and other performers as well. You either begin to create effects that go with how you feel and how you look. Not, you
yeah.
don't work backwards, like you don't search out props necessarily that suit your look. It's kind of like, and this is where I'm working from in the last couple of months anyway. Um, who I am is an late 1800s character,
Mhm.
but I'm also Dr. Michael, but I'm Dr. Michael the character, and I think you've
Yeah.
seen my outfits. And it's like, so I'm starting to create more based on that. What would a character who I am, I'm a character anyway, resonate to and with what kind of props. And I know I'm going to acknowledge in our audience the great Tommy Burnett and Kenton Epper as well. They know exactly where this is coming from because Tommy is a great inventor. But he's authentic. He's coming from himself, and his props reflect that. And so does Kenton as well. Kenton
Mhm.
is very well known for a number of effects. So I'm excited as well, Ari, to see what you come up with. And I know I'm going to be premature by plugging this, but I don't care that you've gotten together with Rocco, and
Yes.
maybe you can chat a little bit about this. And you have and Rocco have kind of formed a business or an endeavor. Talk about it. I won't talk for you. Go for it.
Thank you so much. So yeah, me and my friend Rocco Colt have are in the process of starting a company called Nocturne Magic. We're going to release very creative and unique effects for magicians and mentalists, as well as tools. It's a very exciting endeavor, and I'm very, very honored and grateful to be starting that with him.
He's so cool. I've seen his needle effect. It's
Yeah.
actually a series of effects. And that, pardon the pun, caught my eye because, yeah, when you see the effect, our audience, you'll understand what I
Yeah.
just said. But I thought that was so cool. And then, sure enough, you come on my show, Ari, and you're doing it. You're doing part of it anyway. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is so cool. So I'm very excited to see what you guys come up with over the next little while.
Yes.
If you don't know Rocco, and his name is spelled Kult. but you say
Yes.
Colt or Colt, and he's actually sitting in our audience as well, thankfully. I'm just debating whether I get that maybe he doesn't want to be spotlighted right now, but we'll keep talking about him until he decides, no, I want to come on, Mike. Let me speak. You guys don't speak for me. So, Tommy, do you want to highlight
I
Rocky?
actually already did. He's already up there.
There he
Can you
is.
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I,
Yep.
I wasn't expecting this. What's up, folks? Let me turn the light on. It's a little. Yay. Hey, how's it going, everyone?
It's good.
All right. Good stuff. Can you hold on. Keep my little shit. Can you hear me just fine in here?
Yeah.
Yep. We,
Cool.
we
I have
can.
stuff. All right. What's up?
I hope I didn't put you on the spot there, but nonetheless, um, maybe give us your website or where people can look at your stuff, Rocco.
So I don't believe it's live yet. Um,
Not like that.
but it will be. So just remember the name Nocturne Magic. We have the site. We just have to launch it with our products and stuff like that. But hopefully, really soon. We're trying to get it all together the best we can to our own abilities. We may possibly crowdfund in the future, but we should be launching a few products just to launch it uh, in the near future. So hopefully.
Excellent. We'll look forward to that. It's very exciting. I've seen your performances on social media, and it's like, this is cool. This is original, and I don't think anyone's going to copy you. If they do, well, too bad for them, because you can't. They might be able to copy the effects. They might be able to mimic the way you look, but you're still you, and Ari is still she, and all of that. You can't take away that essence. So I predict even more success for you, Rocco, and Ari as well. I
Thank you.
want to share some of your performances from my show, from the Friday night show.
Thank you,
And
Matt.
let's see. Let's do this. Check out Ari in action.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ari Rose, and I want to talk about intuition today. Now, intuition is a fascinating thing that perhaps we don't fully understand yet, but we all feel it. It's that gut feeling when you know something's right. And it's also that gut feeling that you know when something's wrong. It's that feeling that leads you to meet a new person or meet a new group of people or to back away from certain people. Now, I'm going to do a demonstration of intuition today using a deck of playing cards. What I'm going to be doing is trying to intuitively find the four aces out of a shuffled deck of playing cards. In order to properly connect to my intuition, I'm going to take away one of my senses, my sense of sight. This is a blindfold. What I'm going to do is tie this blindfold around my eyes so I cannot see the cards at all. Tie that there. Now, I can't see anything that's happening, barely feel the playing cards, but just by intuition, if all goes the way it should, I should be able to find four aces. I'll start by giving the deck a table driffle shuffle. If I had people here with me, I would allow you to shuffle the deck, but since I don't, I will be shuffling it. I will shuffle it and give the deck several cuts, doing the fairest things possible that I know how to do. Now, to really mess with my intuition, I'll even give it a casino style shuffle or casino style wash, which is what they use in the casinos in Vegas to avoid card cheats and things like that. It can also mess with your intuition because you can't quite sense things. But I do believe that should be enough shuffling for me. First two aces, if I'm not mistaken, should be black aces. That's the two black aces. We'll put those down there. I'll give the deck one more cut because I think the third ace is a little harder to find. Right about there should be the third ace, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the last ace is definitely a bit harder to find, and it's a lot harder to sense. Something's a little different. I think the fourth ace maybe isn't even in the deck, but is right there amongst the other three aces. If my intuition is correct, that should be the one, the two, the three, and the four aces.
Yay, I love that routine. I love that routine, Ari. I love the use of sleight of hand as well as entertainment because it's entertaining and you're working a little bit with a theme as well. I
Yeah.
want to talk, you've mentioned in some of your other interviews that you're a risk taker.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd like also in at the same time for us to talk about all the blood, sweat, and tears that's involved with reevaluating oneself in a fair manner because we can videotape ourselves. Videotape? What century am I in? We can we can record ourselves and then evaluate, look at it, but it's so hard. We tend to all be, as people and as creative people, overly critical. So
Mhm.
you seem to have a balance. I'm assuming you self-evaluate your performances, and hopefully you get other people to look at that as well. Hopefully they're honest. Um, because a lot of people they don't want to hurt us. They don't want to say, well,
Right.
scrap that and start again. That's not
Right.
constructive, but I have a feeling you have a posse that's very constructive around you, or
Right.
perhaps giving you good advice. How do you handle all that? Do you self-evaluate? Do you ask others to get involved? What do you do?
I do both. So, as a person, I'll be completely honest and authentic in this answer. I am very hard on myself, and I have a lot of struggles with that, with believing in myself and seeing what other people do. Especially in magic, it has always been like, oh, I could have done this better, that better, and the other better, and I don't see the good things that other people do. So I do have a very good support system behind me of a lot of magicians that I've met along my journey that I'll ask that I trust to put it to me in a way that I can take that information, digest it, and be like, okay, this is what needs worked on. This is what was good. A lot of people use, I've noticed a method I like to call the compliment sandwich. So it's like, here's what you did well, here's what needed worked on, and you did great. Those are like that's the easiest way to kind of digest, I think, criticism in a way. Not that anyone's ever really super critical. They're all very kind people, but I know they're going to be honest, and honesty is always the best policy, in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you've referred to in the past as being a risk taker, let's
Mhm.
elaborate briefly on that as well. What do you mean by that?
So it can vary depending on like the context of the situation, but in many ways, I am a risk taker. Um, I switched my career at, I believe I was 22. I switched from being a professional dancer to starting on my journey in magic and doing modeling and doing all these different things. So that was like a huge risk. You're jumping out of something that you know really well and you've done forever to jumping something that maybe you don't know so much about. I was also like, I started doing gigs quite early on in that process, and that is a big risk to take because it is a big responsibility. So I would say in that way, I'm
Absolutely.
a bit of a risk taker. I mean, I'm also a very safe person and very like cautious in other ways, but when it comes to that, I've only known how to do what I love as a job.
Perfect. Perfect. That's so important as well. How can people get in touch with you if they want to book you or contact you in any way?
Perfect. So you can go through my website at arirosemagic.com. You can email me at the same email address. It's arirosemagic@gmail.com. Also on Instagram, Ari underscore magical underscore life, or on Facebook, it's under Ari Fleischman.
Awesome. And when this airs on YouTube and when I promote it all over social media, it'll be beneath us. People will be able to see it, the
That's
titles,
awesome.
etc. So time has caught us up. Time always seems to go so quickly when we're involved in interesting things. I have to
Mhm.
thank you so much, Ari, for agreeing to come on the show. A pleasure and an honor. We'll look forward to seeing you on the Friday, December 6th a Magic Emporium show. Look that up on Facebook, folks. And once again, I look forward to seeing more of your magic, Ari Rose, Ari Fleischman. Thank you so much for joining us this day.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure and an honor as always.
Same, ditto. It's true. And
Yes.
I want to thank my audience out there as well for joining me this day and for putting up with me for about 30 minutes or so. You're all appreciated. We do this all for you. We don't do it for us, we do it to share. And I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. We're going to end this series. The second week of January will be the last show for a little while. We need to, keep things going in various other domains and other ways as well. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll sign up if you're not already signed up on our mailing list. And I will just look forward to seeing everybody really soon. Thank you so much for visiting us this day on Magical People.